Matt, how Christian? I mean, he was out there today. How did all that look? How did Christian look today? I mean, out there practicing. Was
yeah.
Full practice, limited. How was he?
Yeah, I would say he was pretty limited. You know, not a ton of plays. Just trying to begin the process of working him back. You know, we've given him some time off. Hasn't practiced with us in several weeks, so this is his first day back. So we'll see how he looks tomorrow. You know, in terms of this weekend and his availability. See how he responds to this. But no setbacks out there today, which was good for the first step.
Was the injury to Sam's shoulder? Was that the one where he got taken out of the game with a concussion too?
Yeah.
Was he limited, or we didn't see him out there during the portion of practice?
Yeah, he was extremely limited. You know, able to do some of the run through and stuff like that, but nothing more.
Did kind of the pre-practice and then.
Yeah, he was limited today to just pre-practice stuff and then drills, which you know, so just extremely limited.
You know, still in the protocol, obviously.
Yeah, he's in the protocol. This was the next step for him. So, Dr. Grader and those guys will handle it moving forward. So we'll see how he responds to today. I don't know. I can't speak on that. You know, I'm obviously hopeful. You know, but I have to go through the process. So.
Given that there's a small chance, do you prepare solely as if PJ is the starter this week?
No, I think as coaches we prepare for everything. You know, we prepare for who the third quarterback is. So we're preparing Sam. You know, if he can go. Preparing PJ and James, and even the last game. Sam got knocked out of the game. PJ went in. He took a big hit on the speed option. We have to have the third guy ready in case something happens. So we're prepared for everything and just see where it ends up.
How do you think PJ practiced today?
PJ was good today. PJ was good today.
More than likely that Christian would be another week, do you think?
I don't know that. Like I said, it was just the first step. I mean, we've been through this before. I think the biggest thing is how he feels after today. So he got through the practice and we go back, we check the GPS. Did he open it up today? It was a little cool out there. Check the GPS. Check how he feels. So, like I said, it's just a process. We're getting started today. It took Steph 2 weeks to kind of come back and be ready to play. Stephon, and even then it was limited. Shaq was able to come back in kind of a week and a half. So, we'll see how Christian's body resumes. So, we're really getting Chuba, Amir, and Royce ready like we have been, and see what happens with Christian.
Are you adding Pat Elflein to the roster? He's back out there.
He's still in his return to play window. I think that ends today, so there'll have to be some decisions made here pretty quickly based upon how he felt.
Changed, or the team changed, or McCaffrey changed what he's doing this time coming back versus the last time? Or has there been any change from last year, just the approach to it, whether it's his training, working, or anything like that?
No, I think it's been the same return to play process. I think we just gave him more time. Instead of, hey, come back, take a step back, come back, just not quite be there. I think the 3 weeks was sort of the thought process of give him 3 weeks just to heal, no practice, and now start revving him back up. So, I don't obviously get too into what they're doing, doctor-wise. I mean, they sort of handle that, and the PTs and the trainers and return to play. So they cleared him for practice now. So we'll start bringing him along, and whenever he's ready to go, we'll go.
What was the thought process in bringing Josh Love in and not seeking out a quarterback in the trade market?
Josh Love was kind of already something we were working on before anything happened with Sam. It was really not a reaction to Sam. That was just a guy that we liked, and just keep bringing guys in on the practice squad, getting eyes on people, seeing who fits, even for the future. So just really nothing with regards to that.
If Sam can't go, would you elevate Love or Morgan?
Love? No, Love's not a candidate to go up right now. He just got here.
If you all were to add Pat tomorrow, do you like what the offensive line is, the way it's constructed, or would he be a person candidate to come back into the
Pat's a guy that started for us and played well. He can play center, he can play both guards. We'd love to have Pat there. Again, he's coming back off of 6 weeks worth of an injury. Is he still? I'm not sure that I'm not even sure that he's back yet. So whenever he comes back, we'll have to evaluate where he is. Sometimes you come back and you're just not quite there yet. So the offensive line played better last week. We're practicing those 5 guys, and then the other guys we're just kind of bringing along. Whenever we need him, whenever he's healthy to go.
Would you think you would activate him though?
I hope so. I mean, I hope he came off this today. Last game, because if he goes back on IR, it's IR for the rest of the year. So I'm hoping that he can do it at the same time. We have to make tough decisions. In terms of if it's going to be several more weeks. So we'll see where he's at. But he was out there today, so I'm hoping I'm going to go in here a little bit, see Scott, and see the trainers, and everything looks good.
Did
The fact that you guys did not go get somebody other than a practice squad quarterback, does that speak to, and I know concussions are serious, but that there's some optimism that Sam won't be out an extended period of time?
I mean, I think he's already got to this point of the protocol where he can be limited. So I mean, I think that speaks to you that it's not. Hopefully, I mean, but it's a protocol. I don't get too involved in it. I don't get at all involved in it. Let me say that. So, but it was one of those deals where, hey, he's at this point. So I think the fact that he was allowed to be at practice and all that says it's not a. Hopefully, now we have to see how things go.
You mentioned that Amir provided you guys with the jolt offensively. What does he really bring to the table in that running back room?
First of all, he's really tough. Okay, he's a tough guy. Like, he likes to play, he likes to practice, he likes to block, likes to play on special teams, likes to prepare. He's a true pro. I'll go upstairs and watch the practice tape and come back after the guys all leave. Come back downstairs, and I'm pretty sure he'll be walking around doing something. I mean, he's a true pro's pro, but he's got great vision. He's got an explosiveness. He can run routes. He can catch. I mean, he learned everything in 4 or 5 days. Because he's been around. So I think he brings tremendous versatility, and I like what Chuba's been doing, I like what Royce has been doing, and Amir, I think, just added on to that.
You talked about, I think you were asked about Stephon and possibly getting an increased role. You said it depends on how he responds, body. How did he look? How's he been since then? And could you envision an increased role?
Yeah, so Stephon came out of last game healthy. So I'm excited about that. He practiced today. How much more? At this point, coming off of what I don't know how much more he'll play. It might be that same third down role that he had this past week. But it was a step in the right direction. So could that be amplified a little bit more? I don't know. We'll see how kind of this week goes. It's one of those deals where, you kind of have to look at it every day and see, hey, did the knee swell up? Did the calf? Just kind of deal with it. So whether it's Shaq, whether it's Justin, whether it's all these guys, it's just sort of a daily, like, hey, check the injury report, see how they're at, and then respond. So we'd love to have Stephon, out there, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Now, what went into your decision to start Trent at right guard, knowing that he hadn't played that position in a game before, and you had Brady and other guys who might have had more experience?
He had, he'd gone in the game before, the week before, and just like the way he played. Trent's really a smart, tough guy. He's got length, got long arms. He's going to do what he's supposed to do. He's not going to get fooled. He's not going to go the wrong way. He's not going to make a mistake. Cares a lot about the team. He's truly tough mentally and physically. So, we practiced last week, and we practiced hard last week, and he practiced well, so we gave him the start. Brady's going to be a really good player. He's kind of going through that process right now. Dennis Daly's a guy that's played for us inside and outside. So all those guys are up and available, but just felt like Trent was the guy that gave us the best chance to win last week, and I think it worked out.
Did you notice PJ preparing any differently, considering he could be the guy this week?
No, PJ and Sam and James, really, they're in here all hours of the night. They're in here on their off days. They are true grinders. They're in here at all times. So I think that's one of the things that I respect a lot about PJ and about James is they prepare at that level, even though they're not the starter, which is pretty cool. And I think that fuels Sam on. So they'll be in here all the time.
And did PJ get the first team reps in practice today?
Got all the reps.
What do you see that the New England does well on offense and defense as you prepare for them?
Well, New England's a great team. I mean, they play complementary football at the highest level. They're physical. I mean, this is a really physical team. Downhill run game. They're going to punish people. I love the fullback. The offensive line is physical. They get downhill. Tailback runs hard. Explosive play-action passing game. They utilize everyone in the play-action passing game. And then, I think Mac's playing really well. He protects the ball, makes good decisions. He's really accurate down the field. Throws a really catchable ball. They've got great skill. You got guys who can get open. Defensively, I mean, they take away the run. They play man coverage. You got Devin McCourty back there, and he makes everything right for them. I mean, he's excellent. A lot of different looks, a lot of different personnel groupings, and so they're a team. They're a team that kind of we want to be. They run the football, they play action it, they protect the football. They don't beat themselves. They win the field position battle with elite special teams. Olszewski last week was really special with his punt returns. I mean, he has been for a long time. And then defensively, they give you nothing, and they take away the run, they make you throw it, they play man coverage, they challenge you. So it's going to be a real challenge. They're a really, really, really a good team. I mean, they've got great players, but just the way they play together is just it's something for everyone to look at in terms of, hey, this is how team is constructed.
Matt, you've known PJ for a long time, obviously. How have you kind of helped him or tried to help him over the years know when to kind of try to make the play and when to dial it back and be protective of the football?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's PJ's biggest thing that he has to be better at. I mean, going the game, the play last week. I mean, I got on him on the sideline in ways I don't get on many guys. I mean, he just can't do that. And when he went in and played last year against Detroit, I mean, he had some of our most explosive plays of the year, but then he had 2 red zone turnovers that you can't have. And so I think part of it is understanding that, when you put your backup quarterback in most games, the deck's slightly tilted against you, so you can kind of put a game manager in there who's going to hand the ball off, or you can put a guy in there that has a chance to make some plays. PJ can make some plays. He's just got to discipline that with good decision making and protecting the football. And so, if PJ protects the football, he can move teams. I was really disappointed in that play, but also it speaks to the confidence Joe and them have that he ran speed option the first play, he ran the rollout the next play. I mean, he can do some things. He just has to make better decisions.
We've heard you.
On that, I'm sorry, Joe.
That's all right.
On that particular play, though, I wanted to ask you, because PJ mentioned that too and said, Coach yelled at me and then I yelled back. And I just wonder if you could sort of explain that moment a little more. And then also, is that because you guys have known each other for so long that there's sort of almost a different level of relationship?
Yeah, and I yell at some other guys too during the game. I try not to yell too much. I believe the game is for the players. But when you have got, at the end of the day, we're not going to tolerate silly decisions. But I'm also like, against the Giants, I yelled something to Hassan to slide in, and it gave the guy, and I walked off the field. I said, that was so stupid, Hassan, I'm sorry. So like, I think I hope that if there's anything I do good, I take a lot of responsibility for a lot of things. Sometimes I take responsibility for things that probably aren't really me, but it's like, I think that's what a leader does. He gets out front and just says, hey, it's on me. So I think the guys usually respond to that, but I usually try to do it in a soft way. PJ's one of those guys who, PJ's just tough, and he responds to those things, and so I don't remember what he yelled back at me. I think he said something like, the guy came up the field, and I said, throw it away, and then after that, he came off the field, and I said, throw that ball away, and he was like, I got it. So, but, I've gotten on Sam too. I've handled Sam in different ways. I'm getting to know Sam way better now, and last week. And I do want to go back and say one thing about Sam. Like, I thought for Sam to go through what he went through with the Giants and then come out, I mean, there wasn't a guy on our team that in the locker room wasn't all in on Sam after the way he played, and the physicality and the running and the big throws he made. So I was proud of Sam for that. But, PJ's always been a winner. He's tough. He just has to make good decisions.
What did that game last year against Detroit, how does that affect your comfort level with him going into this game this week if you have to start him against New England?
Yeah, just let us know that he can push the ball down the field. He can recognize, like in that game, we had a drive concept and he saw man coverage and he alerted the corner out for a touchdown, right? Like threw the deep ball down the sideline. He could scramble around and make some plays. So did a lot of good things, but then he threw 2 picks in the red zone. So to me, what I've said to him is your ability to get on the field and play is impacted by your decision making, as are all quarterbacks, right? So, I've said we've put PJ in a lot of tough situations. Hey, we're down 14. Hey, go in there and try to make something happen. I don't really pay too much attention to what happened in those. I try to eliminate that. That's a separate category for me. But in the Lions game and in this game, just making good decisions down around the red zone, I think, is really important for him.
We've heard you kind of, especially with like DJ, describe some of the things he does off the ball. And I know it was a short sample size, but as you watch the tape of Gilmore on Sunday, did you see anything from him kind of that might not have been apparent to people just watching the ball?
It's a really good question. I'm sorry, I got to make sure I think really most things I've noticed with Stefan are at practice. He does things at practice, like things that you'll coach guys on for like a year. Like, hey, when 2 goes away, do this, and then he kind of does it naturally, and then kind of illuminates it for everybody else. Like, oh, I got it, and then that's kind of the benefit of having veteran players that are really good players. I thought in the game, I think he went out there and he took Kyle Pitts man to man. Played him man, had the one defensive holding, but had some really nice plays there. He defensed him. He has great lateral movement. He can play bump and run. He step in places, but when he's off, he can see everything. So he's really truly an excellent player, but also just sort of seeing things and from all his experience. And he puts a lot of work in, puts a lot of time in. We flew back and he came right here, and I drove home. He came here and started rehabbing to get ready for the next game. So he's a true pro's pro. Doesn't say much, but his actions speak so loudly. You really probably can't hear what he's saying sometimes. So that's Atlanta.
Matt, you were talking about all the qualities of the Patriots a little bit ago. With Bill Belichick, what separates him from other coaches, and what makes him so good at what he does?
Yeah, I don't have much right to even speak on Coach Belichick. He's the greatest. I couldn't even pretend to say like this is what makes. Everything. He's won all different ways with different players. He's had so many different guys come through his team and his system, and he's found a way to get it done. So he's someone that's unique when you're a college coach, head coach. You're studying guys. So like all these years that I've studied Coach Belichick, and one of the men that was influential in my career and in my life was Wayne Harden, who was the head coach at Temple, but also was the head coach at Navy, and coached with Coach Belichick's father, and used to always say to me, if you ever have a chance to meet Coach Belichick, make sure you go up and introduce yourself, and I want you to get to know him. And so obviously I haven't had much chance to get to know Coach Belichick, but he's just someone that I've always looked up to and studied, and so to have a chance to coach on the same field with him obviously will be an honor. But I think the biggest thing is that I can't say I've studied every team, but it looks like he has a total program. Everything's integrated. They play together. They play the same style. It's 6 minutes left on the last football game. They have the lead, and their guys are all getting to the boundary and sliding, like just elite, like time management, time awareness, situational awareness that is impacted by everybody. Last year we had a guy reach the ball across the goal line. Some guys asked me, like, why do you do that? You watch their team. They catch the ball at the 1 yard line. They got 5 points of ball security. Ain't nobody reaching the ball to the goal line. They are just culturally, they're not going to beat themselves. They do things the right way. It's elite football. So it's really cool to watch. Obviously we'll have a chance to play it. And hopefully we play well too.
But you've never had a chance to meet him in person, or
just in passing. We were 2 years ago. We were going to play each other. We talked a little bit about that, and then I saw him at a pro day this year, but nothing of substance.
Is Zane Gonzalez did a game ball last Sunday, and you could talk about what you've learned about him as a player.
Going back to the game balls, Zane did get a game ball. Yes, Zane got a game ball. Yeah, sorry, it's hard for me to go backwards sometimes. Yes, and he deserved one. I just think he's gotten better and better and better. To go out there and kick those long field goals with a new holder, that's elite mental toughness. They had Cordarrelle Patterson back there, so do we squib it? A lot of people squibbed it. We kicked the ball deep, and he kicked them through the end zone. So he's just gotten better and better and better every week, gotten in a groove and playing well right now, and we'll have to continue that this week.
This one, and then Steve. Steve, you go first, and last one from Ellis.
Okay, sorry. Matt, a little bit off the beaten path, but Al Holcomb has been a coach that's been around the league a long time. You knew him up in New York. Why'd you bring him in here, and what are his qualities as a coach?
Well, I think Al's one of the top assistant coaches in the National Football League. He's been a defensive coordinator. Really should be one of those guys who is a coordinator candidate and should be a head coaching candidate. He's excellent with players, excellent schematically, great teacher, patient, a leader. So, I worked with Al. It was like me, Kevin Gilbride, who's here, him. There was 4 of us had the back hallway at the Giants. And, Al's worked his way through the ranks and came here, and then obviously had tremendous success here and has moved on. Then when I had a chance to get back here, I was bringing guys that I knew, that worked for me at Baylor, and I wanted NFL guys to also, complement the staff and blend the staffs. But I wanted guys who were great teachers that were going to be invested in the players and developing players, and I knew that was Al. And just so happened he was available. His family was still right here, has a house here, so it worked out. And I thought, Steve, that he'd be able to bring a lot to us in terms of third down and blitz packages and pressure packages, because that's really where college and the NFL is different, right? Now it's getting way more similar. Like some of these games, you feel like you're playing Oklahoma State, but that's where I thought there'd be a lot, to bring from Al. So he's done that, and last year he spent a lot of time with Chin, and then this year he's really, him and Don have really taken, Burns and Hassan, and I think you've seen the level of production. So I think Al's a tremendous coach and someone that people should pay attention to.
You've mentioned how effective the quarterback run was for you guys in Atlanta. Of course, that was a play that Sam's injured on. So, as a coach, how do you balance maximizing the quarterback run while still protecting your quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and something I've kind of studied a little bit over the time. Most quarterbacks really get hurt and hit in the pocket. So I think every time you drop back, you're putting the quarterback at risk. You'd like quarterbacks to get on those plays and then get down and not take that hit. I think when you see what Sam saw, Tommy Tremble came around and kind of blocked one. He had a chance to maybe score, and then the guy came out of nowhere. So typically, I'd want him to get up, and then we have a lead blocker in front of him and get down. I think he saw a chance to score and went for it. And then last week, a lot of those were just, hey, third down scramble plays. I think it just brings a whole other element to the defense, right? And that's one of the reasons why we have Sam and we have Phillip, is because on third down, when the quarterback can pull the ball down and convert third downs, I think he converted 3 with his feet, 3 third downs and 6 total first downs. It changes the way you rush. You no longer can be quite as aggressive on the edges. And I think you go back to even like the kind of previous 2 or 3 games, we had not really taken advantage of that quite as much. So Sam's been really good for us down in the red zone running the football, and then I think adding that in third down, and then whenever he does come back, I think he recognizes that's a really big part of his game. He was a high school basketball player, could have been a college basketball player. He's got quickness, he's got speed, he's got movement. He should utilize it and be a I'm not saying he's gonna be a true dual threat, but he can provide a threat, and so. That's something we encouraged him. I hate that he got hurt doing it on the quarterback zone read. We'd like him to get down and not take those hits. But, he slid on the play before and got hit. So, he's taking some big hits in the pocket. It's just kind of part of playing quarterback, and we'll just try to just help him, not get hit when we can.
Protecting and sliding?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say, we've just kind of always talked about it. We don't really slide in practice. I don't. Maybe we should, but just kind of that timing of getting down and not taking the big hit, and he hasn't taken many of them on those things, but obviously took one on that one.